Next we have Shyamkant Mishra, Global Head Talent Acquisitions Amdocs. He is strategically leading the new age hiring practice in this era and is recognized by Forbes India. Besides this, he is also one of top 30 talented leaders in India. We all welcome you, sir. Put your hands together for Shyamkant Mishra.
Wow. I think food gives us energy and good food settles us down a little bit, right? But the kind of speakers that we have is amazing and I'm pretty sure nobody's feeling sleepy. So again, good afternoon, or good evening, no, good afternoon everybody. Thank you so much for having listened to all of us since last 2 days so patiently. I think one of the things which I could see as we all are talking about change is the room was filled with, I think, all the chairs, but right now we just left with 40 or 50%. But what makes the difference, it is not the number which is the difference. I think it is about your interest, which you want to take us from us as an industry, experts, and together we all can co-create a better future. So I've got another difficult job to do. Why? Because since last 2 days I am listening to a lot of speakers. And when I was just looking at the topic which EduSkills has given me, I said, come on, what are you doing? Everybody has spoken everything. So what is there for me to speak? So some of the things should be common. But for me, can I have the flicker? I don't want to see myself so big in the screen. I'm not very used to it. Okay, so for me, I think a very important thing is that it's of course not a surprise. What we all are talking since last 2 days and today is the concluding day on the 3rd day, I think we are not talking different from each other. We all are trying to pass the same message, whether it's about AI, it's about future of work, and those messages are very clearly being delivered to all of you. So my job in a way, as I said, is also difficult because I might be something repetitive. But at the same time, my job is also easy because I'm not really beating around the bush, but I'm a little bit going to give you some tactical approach as a takeaway, which is going to eventually help us on the topic that I'm going to discuss on future of work. As you mentioned, the future is always here, and AI. So let's start a little bit about the organization Amdocs. So most of you, as I was chatting during the breakfast and lunch and dinner, I'm very happy to know that you guys are familiar with this organization. It's almost 45 years old organizations. We are world's #1 in the space of media and telecommunication. India has quite a bigger presence. Out of 30,000 employees, India has almost 20,000, both in Pune, Gurgaon, and a little bit at the Bangalore. I represent organizations, and for me, if I have to say, though I'm going to talk about any very different thing, but I haven't changed the same organization for the last 20 years. My years of experience is almost equal to the years that I've spent in this organization. So it's kind of I'm ingrained, and I don't think this is a sort of a culture these days we see. I think some of my friends may be working for a decade, 1.5 decades, but I'm being proud to lead the global talent acquisition for this organization. And the mantra is basically setting the tone of the future also. We as organizations, we enrich lives of the progressive societies with creativity, technology for a better connected world. Now what does it mean in a very simple language? I'm pretty sure all of us, you have a mobile device, you are using data, you are talking to your friends, your near and dear ones. So we as organizations, we are behind the technology that enables you to communicate with your friends and with your near and dear one. That is what Amdocs is powered with customers like AT&T, Verizon, Vodafone, Airtel, and so on and so forth. So this is the work Amdocs is doing. Recently, we have moved into a space which is more to do with OTT platforms. And that is why, in the role that today I am doing as a head of the talent acquisition, one thing which keeps me awake is, of course, about the talent. And we have spoken a lot about the abundance of talent which is available today in India. And of course, India is a global supplier of talent, not now, since last so many years. But you know what? One of the most important nightmares for me is to have the right talent. And if you know the story that if we hire a wrong talent, it costs us much more than not hiring the right talent. And that is why we want to talk about only basic 3 pointers, which is going to summarize what are you expecting. And believe me, when I'm going to talk about basic pointers, it's not about going and telling what only academics should do. No, that's not the agenda. Because you guys, let me tell you, you know who 𝐕ශ්වකර්මා is, right? All of us? Yes. All the engineers are 𝐕ශ්වකර්මා, but for us, you are the one who is creating the 𝐕ශ්වකර්mas, which is the future of the engineers. Guys, I really want to thank you with the bottom of my heart, with a big round of applause, that because of your push in the academies, you guys are actually making the impact, and we as industries, we are actually enjoying that. So let's quickly get into the next slide. Before that, let me ask you a few questions. Am I allowed to ask you questions? Yes? No? Yes? Okay, this is the topic. Let's move on in respect of the time. Okay, you see 3 pictures out here. Let me tell you, the first one is about a bank. Second one, any guesses? Sir, can you see the picture? Is it visible? Very nice, photo printing. And the third one is, kind of a club. Let me ask you this question. How many of you, honest answer, in the last 7 days visited to either one of these entities or all of that? In last 7 days?
No one.
Last 1 month? Sir is saying no one. Wow. Last 6 months? No? Wow. Last 1 year? Maybe the answer is no. The answer is very simple. And the answer lies in your pocket. The answer is the small hand-handled mobile device. You don't need to go to visit a bank today because all the financial transactions you are doing through that. And I think Dr. Das spoke about the humongous impact of UPI, which is an answer to the global forum, what India can bring with the technology. Photo studios. I'm pretty sure these days we are not going with the negative to develop the positives. And you know what? Which is the largest selling camera? It is not the Nikon or the Canon, it is a mobile phone. So we don't need to go to photo studios to develop those. And the third one is very, very interesting. And I can guarantee in this room, there will be no person who doesn't have a digital footprint, which I mean that having presence in social media, right? We are on LinkedIn, we are on Insta, we are on Facebook. And this is exactly killing our in-person meeting with our friends, with our loved one, because of, again, the mobile device. And there is no complaint, by the way. There is no complaint. And if I ask you another question, today, do you know what is the fear which crippled our mind? There are many fears, right? We heard Mr. Vidyarthi also as a motivational speaker. There are many fears, but honestly, for us, the one fear which is crippled our mind is the fear of change. Now, remember, we have read about it, right? When the printing press was first came almost 100 years before, it was the fear in the churches where they thought that the knowledge will be printed, it will be in the hand of public, and why somebody will come and obey the churches or respect them. The fear was there during the Industrial Revolution also, right? When the assembly line got into action, the labor fear of losing the job and so on and so forth. I'm pretty sure together we can quote thousands of examples. Be it electricity, be it railways, be it computers, be it internet, and last but not the least, the game today which is creating a fear more than anything is the AI, is the machine, is the automation will happen through machine. And believe me, the fear is very relevant. Nobody's questioning that. And it's going to stay there. Because today we all are talking about AIs, but believe me, the fact is that we have even not experienced 5% of the AI so far. We've just seen the tip of the iceberg. Now that's what, for me, we are talking about these changes, but at the same time, not really instilling the fear. I'm here to tell you that the opportunities looks even more promising than the era that our predecessors had lived in. There's a very nice quote by MC Hammer, who is one of the American pop star. And once he said that technology is important because it creates the future, and we can be part of the next one to create which doesn't exist. And this is really possible because we have seen that the mother of invention was out of our challenges. Let's move on to the next one. Now, we spoke about data, and I think Dr. Das really spoke about very impressive data, which I think as a government representative, he can really spoke what are the data that is in play. I'm going to give you a very simple classic data which has been published in the World Economic Forum, and this data creates or at least talks about opportunity. The first one is very simple because I represent a fraternity which is talent acquisition, so I will always go with the numbers. 170 million jobs will be created by 2030 or by 2035. This is what the number of new jobs that will be created. And now the fear is still that, hey, am I going to lose the job? And we'll talk about that. Why not? Most importantly for me, the data that we all, as a fraternity, as a cohort, should be really focusing on, 40% of the skills, I think Charles spoke about it, is going to be obsolete. We would not be using those skills as we move on in our work or in our academics. And for me, I can vouch on that, almost 90% of the hiring is going to happen by AI. Now see the classic combinations. You guys are producing the brightest of the mind of this country, and we are hiring them, irrespective of percentage. Now tomorrow when I say, in Amdocs, an individual, a person is not going to do the hiring, but a machine will do the hiring, I think the game is going to be changing. In the space of recruitment, I can tell you an example. Today, the jobs which looks repetitive, be it a sourcing or a screening, or by the matter, and this is very important, and I'll tell you a story. I think yesterday I met a couple of professors out here. Believe me, I haven't heard about those universities, but when I kind of spoke to them, it was amazing because the kind of platforms they are building and they're engaging with students is amazing. Now, because a human is at the helm of the hiring, we are going college by college, we are going person by person. If I have relations with the professors or with the dean, I will go to that college. But if I say that my maximum hiring is going to happen by machine, believe you me, I'm actually being unbiased because I'm asking the machine to help and curate the data for me by taking from colleges, universities, understanding how many research projects you have done, understanding how your student success ratio is there, and that is going to help me to identify whether I should be going to a Amravati or Thiruvananthapuram or I should come to Shimla or anywhere. But that is today not happening. So that is a very interesting, important and amazing thing which is going to happen with academy, where a person is not going to be at the helm of mining the data, but monitoring and taking decisions on that. That's just one example from my field. Let's talk about, as I said, I'm going to only talk about 3 entities which is important for us, and I will not spend much time because we spoke a lot about skills over degree. Now believe me, when I say it is skills over degree, first and foremost, let me give a disclaimer that degree is very important. At least in a traditional Indian context, degree will be important because not for the sake that you'll get a certificate, but for the sake of that it gives a fundamental build up to an individual, and second, it gives a structured approach to your thoughts. But that is not going to be the only thing, because if you see the traditional approach so far is degree. You get a degree, you put it on the resume, and you land up in a job. This is the hiring which is happening. Today, the emerging approach, what we're talking about, we spoke a lot about it, it is the skills. Almost every organization is moving towards a skills-first approach. Even if the degree will be fundamentally recognized, but what would be important for me is the following thing. When I say skill means that it has to have ingrained in a project. It has to have some experience. We know for sure that when we talk to students about the projects, most of the projects could be copied and pasted, and these days of AI, it is going to be very, very challenging because you never know from where the projects is being downloaded and being kind of given to you. But today, in the other side of the table, there is an AI also who's screening those projects. So let's be careful. Your real and live project experience is only going to take that individual to the next level. And the last one, we spoke about AI mapping. So skill first approach. Now this is for the industry. But when, as I said, I'm pointing one finger towards academy, three fingers have been pointed towards me as industry. For industry also, there is a shift which is happening, and we cannot just brag about academy should do this, academy should do that. We also talk about what industry is doing and what things are changing. The first narrative that is coming is that there is a huge change, my friends, which is happening in the workforce model today. The same thing, traditional degree-based hiring is going out because I gave an example. I could be biased with that being an alma mater, I could be biased being a brand of an university, but that's going to change. Second, which is very important, I would request you to take back and talk to your student. There is an approach of static job, and the static job is for years together we used to hire graduates, freshers, we would give them just a coding job or a testing job, the job description will be narrow, and his fundamental upbringing will be stopped to move further. So it is moving from a static to a dynamic role. Third one is human only. This is the traditional approach. I'm pretty sure in the future it's not in the future, it is happening right now. Human only team anywhere across the globe with the industry is not going to be a sustainable model. And the last one is about local talent pool. Now see how the emerging workforce is changing, and with most of the companies in Amravati it has already changed. Skill-based hiring, we are engaging with partners like EduSkills, and thank you so much because till I came here I was really, the honest confession, I was not aware about the spread and the network that EduSkills is doing with all of you guys. Believe me, and that is actually pushing me to think that we have creators, we have platforms, we have collaborators. It is probably just we need to come, not just use it by the way, I'm not being selfish, but also to contribute towards that ecosystem. Agile Code and Project, I'm pretty sure you know something called Scrum Master, something called Agile Coach. So the role is not just going to be a coder, an individual in an organization will expect to do and know the entire ecosystem of a software development lifecycle, starting from coding to testing to even testing its own code and to putting in the deployment. Human plus AI, a lot has been spoken, I'm not going to talk about it, but I will in the next slide little bit talk about, maybe the last slides, how the transition is happening from a human to an AI ecosystem. And the last one, ladies and gentlemen, global talent network. Let's stop thinking that only in India the hiring is happening. Today, by sitting in India, I can have a gig economy worker sitting in the States or sitting in anywhere else. So the competition is not within the universities, within the companies inside in India, but the competition has gone global. And this is thanks to the pandemic, which has taught us how to work in a hybrid environment. And this all is going to be summed up to higher employee retention because in the emerging trend, the employees at the driver's seat. What we are doing is for the employee, and in the fight of war of talent, believe you me, losing a talent after a humongous amount of investment is only going to create pain and pain. With the emerging model that the industry is coming up, the first thing it is going to address is employee retention by virtue of giving growth and projects and learning to the employee. As I said, human intelligence over AI intelligence we have been discussing, and I think Bhavani and Governor also mentioned it is all about the human brain. That's going to always be the supreme leader in the value chain. Nobody is denying the fact. And as we know, AI for now is doing repetitive tasks, but human, as we have emotions, so far I think there are a lot of machines that we have been going to be developed with emotions, but so far, till I speak right now, human has that empathy and the emotion, and that is very important for us when we co-create the ecosystem, not just for sustainability, but also to be staying ahead. As I said, there is only three vectors where the AI transitions are happening. Now, I leave it to you to understand today you are part of which vector. There are three things. AI assisted, which is about primarily owned by human, AI is just helping. The second one is AI augmented, where typically you have a combination of human and AI working together. And the third one, and you see the lines are getting changed. The first one, you see the first two bars are second or almost 5 parts are with AI, and the last one which is AI power. Now this is the future of work where the AI is primarily going to manage your entire work, but the human will be manage the performance and monitor the output. So ladies and gentlemen, the last one is, and I really mean it when I say AI is reshaping our world, but education will reshape our workforce. And that is the importance of this conclave, where the education, eminent people and the industry guys meet and they think how we can co-create this future together. For the academic fraternity, this is what my urge would be. We have been talking about change of courses, we have been talking about policies which are changing, we have been talking about how government is enabling the infrastructure, but I think AI must be very seriously replace some of our traditional education system by making it a more of an AI classroom. Second is, okay, so I will tell you the story of this one also. Second, I think is very, very important, which we know. The critical thinking is always going to keep the human ahead of the AI. End of the day, it is we who are creating this, let me call it this Frankenstein monster, but we should not be shot down by the same monster. So one of the things which is going to keep ahead of us is the critical thinking. And the last one, and this is where probably can be a game changer, is learning hub. Now, when I say learning hub, it's not about creating a learning hub for only your students. And I can tell you some of the colleges where I was talking to them, you have your students, past students are working in AMDOS in various positions, various designations. This learning hub, I'm actually putting an urge to also extend to your alma maters, because that is a very big networking you are missing. You're doing it for the students, extend to the alma mater, and last but not the least, we must extend to the communities that we are doing as a part of our own way to give back to the community. I'm pretty sure there are districts, there are places, in fact I come from a places which is far from the metros. We might not have all the infrastructures which are created, but we have great universities. It is very difficult for an underprivileged students or a chap to go to university, so my humble request would be not just extend it to your students, to your alma mater, but also extend to the communities that you truly believe. With this, I think I am almost coming to the end of my marathon talk, because I have the fear of not missing my flight. But this is a quote I am a firm believer, I want to believe it, that AI is not just a tool, it's a team member. And when I was kind of got an invitation from Subhajit for this, I actually told one of my fresh hires in HR, in talent acquisition, and I told her that I want to put a picture that this is my talk on AI and future workforce. Can you help me? And believe you me, I was just expecting that the girl will go to internet or the GPTs and will download a static picture. But she surprised me by putting this animation. This was neither a video animation where I was being shot in the camera. And if you go to my LinkedIn profile, she just picked up my LinkedIn picture, that's it, and did this. And when she showed it to me, it was really amazing that what AI can deliver, or what intelligence can deliver. Thank you so much. I think you've been very patient. And I again, from the bottom of my heart, I thank EduSkills Subhajit for you. And more than that, I thank these girls, and I was just looking at them, they are super charged. I'm sure you're doing something in the organization that they are still charged and motivated. So thank you so much, guys. This is my time. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for this beautiful session. Now, I would like to request and welcome Mr. Shubhajit, sir, to felicitate Mr.